UIC.
Freedom the people of
Hell yeah.
freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah,
Yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road. Ready for
Hi, good evening, and welcome to another edition of UIC Liberty TV. This is Joseph Patterson, President of UIC Jamaica. Welcome and good evening to all of you. Hope my mic is working well and you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me clearly, everyone? Just type a yes in the comment section if you can hear me clearly. Tonight, I just want to talk to you briefly. I saw where there is some some comments about the absence of the UIC at the various strike actions which are taking place from different segments of society, from the water commission to the traffic controllers, air traffic controllers, and also our good friends at the NHT. So I just want to, give some word on that and want you to know that I'm very aware and watching everything. The UIC is very busy putting together our JUMP program at the moment to make sure that the Jamaican people have the Jamaica Upliftment Monetary Program as something that can be a very big positive impact on our personal economic situation. So good night to all of you. Good night, Robin. Good night, T. Chad. Good night, Trudy. Trudy says it's not clear. Sorry about that, Trudy. Leo says it's good. It's good now. Sounding good now, says Ian. So thank you all for being here. Um, I I am I am very touched by the comments that I've seen on various you know uh, posts concerning the UIC's involvement. And I want you to know that we're not at all involved in the strike actions that are taking place. Not at all. We fully support workers, whether those workers are private sector or public sector workers. We support the interest of workers to be paid properly for the work that they do. We're very concerned about the rise in inflation, which is wiping out the purchasing power of the Jamaican people very fast. So those who are at the bottom, those in the middle, those who are slipping, are feeling the impact every day of the rise in prices and the stagnation in wages. So I know there's a huge challenge. The UIC as a new political party in Jamaica, and one that is not funded by the PSOJ, who give millions of dollars to the other two, um, you know, are not able to do all the things that we would like to do at the time we'd like to do them. But let's for a moment just focus on the strike actions of the various public sector workers. The UIC is not going to run behind every strike action and seek to, you know, win political mileage uh, of the efforts of the Jamaican people as they cry out for change. Strike action is a part of the negotiation process, the bargaining process, and we prefer to allow that process to take its course rather than to just try to inject ourselves. If we're invited by these groups to participate, we more than happily will participate as such. But we're not going to inject ourselves. We're not going to try to hijack anybody's protest action. But we do support and welcome and encourage appropriate protest actions, especially when it comes on to the suffering of the Jamaican people, in terms of their wages. So tonight I want to take questions from you as usual and answer them and let you know what the UIC is doing. Someone says, I think you get very quiet. Sir, I need to be a part of the party that is heading somewhere. From the last time you protest, I have not heard from you much. Um, it doesn't tell me who wrote that, but we have been here quite active. What do you mean by active, though? Let's think about it. What is it that you want from a political party? And I get the impression in Jamaica that we're really after the theater, the entertainment. So a lot of persons are looking to see what is the UIC going to do next. And we had the protest marches or walks for liberty back in August, September of last year, and I was arrested, and we go on from there. And a number of you have stepped up to the plate and have donated and have volunteered and so on. And then we have even greater number who have come expecting, some form of financial help and support from the UIC, not realizing that we are not financially endowed like the other parties, and we're not engaged in the business of any form of, handout as such. We're committed to empowering people and helping people to help themselves, the teach how to fish kind of situation. Now, I am not a full-time politician. And I told you that from the very beginning. I'm not a full-time politician. I get up every morning like the rest of you, and I have to go to work. The UIC doesn't raise enough money to fund me as leader of the party or even an office properly staffed to do research and canvassing and all kind of stuff. We rely extensively on volunteers. The little bit of money that we get, we spend that money on various activities. You might recall we recently did an all-island tour where we went from, we started out in St. Elizabeth and made our way all the way around to Portland, and cut it short there. The vehicle broke down. One of the vehicles broke down, and some people got sick, and a number of things. And so we cut it short here. But we had a very, very good trip around the island. We met with a lot of people. We have held a lot of training for our young, new candidates who are not politicians. They're new to this. So a lot of training had to go into preparing our candidates. We pay for all of those activities. You might think it's very cheap to run online. We have a website, we have a database system. Those costs us a pretty penny to maintain. It's difficult to find technical help. So my job as party president is a very, very involved one. Right now, I am, as much as I'm the president, I am also involved in doing things that normally you don't expect the president to be doing. So I'm head cook and bottle washer. So I do a lot of things to make sure that the movement succeeds. So when persons even can walk away from the movement, when you have volunteers, persons just resign just like that, right? And they resign, and I have to make sure that the work is done. I have to pitch in and make sure that it is done. If we're going to do a program like we're doing now, the JUMP program, I have to get involved and work out the mechanics and the details. Now, these things take up a lot of time, a whole lot of time. You would not want to imagine the amount of time that it takes to do the work of trying to set up a political party and movement. Third parties are not easy, and if it was, believe me, a lot more would exist, but it's not. So we're building, as somebody says here, block by block. But sometimes people become impatient because they look at the UIC and they think we should operate just like the other parties. Well, we're not just like the other parties. We're very different. For one, we're a people party, a grassroots party. We don't have much of the professional help and technical support that you would see in the other parties, which are paid for by the PSOJ. So it's very important for us to understand that The other parties have solid funding that fund all the things that they do. They have people that can sit down and plan things out. It's amazing the amount of things that we have done as a party on the kind of budget we have operated on. Amazing. You understand? So let us be a little bit more kinder. Now, I do hear that some people are saying maybe I don't have the energy, or what is it now? Something else I said. But the idea was that, maybe I should step aside and let somebody else run the party. No, I'm fine with that. If somebody, if the members find another person who they think is best able to lead the UIC, I am more than happy to respect the wishes of the members. So if the members vote and say, hey, we don't think Mr. Patterson is able to carry this any further, and we have somebody else in mind, and they want to bring that person forward, and the membership vote for that person, then I'm going to be fully supportive of that person. And I'm very happy to work in the party as a member or in any other position that the members believe I can serve well in. So I think, we shouldn't get into those kind of, it doesn't sound good, especially if you think that you're a supporter of the party. You say you're a member of the party and you support the party. Don't get into those kind of things. It doesn't sound good. It is not healthy. I hear, regurgitation of things like, he has resigned twice before and all kind of stuff like that. That's an unfair statement. It's resignations don't just happen like that. So let us move on from that. What I want us to do now is to focus on, how we're going to move Jamaica forward. And we have to be very real and realistic about it. We have to be real with what is going on here. We need at least 1,000 members donating $25,000 a month so that we can have a budget of at least 25,000 US dollars a month to help us to get the work done. We have candidates who are resigning because they don't see how they're going to make their campaign work because they don't have enough money, right? Most of our candidates are young people. They're young people. They're not persons who have built a beautiful career and who have amassed a certain amount of wealth and are now coming into politics, having the support of large savings and big business support and so on. These are young people. So we have to be, we have to be understanding. We have to be patient. We have called for persons to adopt a candidate. We haven't had a lot of persons who raise their hands and say, I want to adopt a candidate. But we have high expectations of me and of everybody else. We are working people. We have candidates who are teachers, candidates who are mechanics, candidates who are retail salespeople, candidates who are nurses, candidates who, all kinds of different, and these are working people. We're competing with two parties that have mastered the art and craft of politics. Every morning that Andrew wake up or Mark wake up, all they have to focus on is politics. They don't have to worry about putting food on the table. They're way past that. They're in a system that fully caters to their needs so that they can fully play politics. And I mean play politics. And they're playing politics. They have learned and are comfortable with playing with the lives of the Jamaican people. I can't play with the lives of the Jamaican people. And don't think I am being rude or disrespectful when I don't get to your WhatsApp messages or answer your call. I get so many messages and calls every day. My phone is full. If I show you my messages board right now, you see tons and tons of messages on my phone from many persons. Now, if you don't get a call back from me, it doesn't mean you're not important. It just means that I cannot possibly respond. Every now and again, when I stop and I decide I'm going to try to respond to messages, as God lives, I will sit there and 4 hours later, I have not done any work. and I'm returning calls, responding to messages, and so on. This is not an easy job. It's, if I had a team of persons working full time that can support what I'm doing, it would make life a lot easier. But I don't have that. After my wife spent the last from June, July of last year to earlier this year, she spent almost 8 hours a day on the phone, taking calls, following up with messages, responding to persons, directing traffic, and so on. She worked almost 8 hours a day, sometimes late into the night, 10 o'clock, she's working on these things. You know what? When she's doing that, she's sacrificing our income, our business, our family. She's sacrificing. And then what is the thanks that she gets for that? The thanks she gets for it is our name being dragged into the public sphere with innuendos suggesting that we're thieves. I heard it again in one of our vloggers making comments like, "What are you doing with the donations? How much donations do we get?" I have asked the treasurer. To put together a document for tomorrow's meeting. We're having a meeting at 6 p.m. tomorrow. It's a meeting with all the members and supporters and executive members. It's open to all of you to attend, 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Hopefully you're getting it into your email boxes and so on. She will post it in the groups, in our WhatsApp groups, and all of that. So you'll have somebody telling you. But she is going to show you tomorrow how much money we actually got. We're going to be completely transparent. Some time ago, I sent out a little summary for a period of time where I showed you that we collected $6 million Jamaican. $6 million Jamaican. And that was over a couple of years. Yeah? $6 million Jamaican. And at the current rate of exchange, that works out to about 38,000 US dollars, which works out to approximately 3,225 US dollars per month. That is nothing, my friends. Now, some people got very excited and thought that the UIC is rich and have a lot of money put down. I mean, and it actually caused some problems because, the former treasurer misrepresented the facts to the world, and some candidates and so on were expecting now that there should be a lot of money put down for them to get, when at the end of the year the UIC only had, I think, 1.5 million Jamaican dollars in the bank, more than half of which was for the legal defense fund, which is going to be used up tremendously. We have so far paid out a certain amount to the lawyer, but what many persons don't know is the full cost of the legal battles that I'm faced with right now. They think it's just in fact, many persons have forgotten about it and moved on. But me, my wife, and our family, we don't get to forget about these things. We have to continue to deal with the cost of all of these things. And so it's very hurtful when you hear some of the things being said, and I think we have to be careful. I think if we're not careful, we will destroy all the Marcus Garveys in the world and leave ourselves with nothing. We'll kill the prophet, leave ourselves with nothing. We will hurt ourselves thinking that, it's about Joseph Patterson or whoever the next person is. We need to be more thoughtful, more careful. If we really care about this movement, we need to be more careful. Don't think that I'm here to be at your beck and call. I am serving you, the people, but you have to understand that I am serving you, the people. And in serving you, it doesn't mean that I am your slave, or you can simply tell me to run and I must run because you donate $25 a month or $50 a month or $100 or $10. It doesn't mean that because you tell me to jump, I must jump. It doesn't mean because you think we should take a particular course of action that it is definitely the best and right action for us to take, because you don't know. You're not sure. When you see a situation playing out, there are all kinds of different strategic moves that must be made. Different moves. So let us give the leader a chance to work through the strategic moves and allow me to make them. I am not going to go out there and stand before the persons who are striking and seek to interfere with or in any way piggyback on their strike actions. We're not going to do that. We're here and they know that we support them. Those who are out there, they know that the UIC supports those who stand up for their rights. We ask that they do it peacefully. You saw the other day how the soldier kicked the young lady in her stomach, and we know that all of us should know that what he did was wrong. We also know that what the young lady did was wrong. She should not have been behaving that way. But we don't know the full details of what's going on. But here it is, because the UIC opens its mouth to say, this is not good behavior by the soldier, who is in a much better position. I mean, he's well armed. He has a full contingent of supporters to help defend him. This young lady was relatively, obviously unharmed. Without defense, she's defenseless pretty much. And yes, she was acting up. But these are the challenges we face after 78 years of these two parties. They have so devalued our citizens. The way that lady was behaving is not very different from how many others have behaved in many other communities of that nature. And so what will the UIC do now? Should we run there and try to make a scene out of the situation? No. We want to communicate to the Jamaican people and educate the people on what the problem is and what the solution is. And we want the people to vote for us because they appreciate the education and the empowerment that we bring. We're not going to play mere theater. We're not going to play mere theater. We're not going to get into the gameplay. We're going to be honest and straightforward with the Jamaican people. We're going to build a relationship with the Jamaican people so they know that the UIC is not here to play politics with their lives and their livelihoods. We're here to fix the real problem. So anybody who wants to play the JLP and PNP game, don't come to the UIC with it, because we're not going to play the same game that they've been playing. In fact, we're not going to play the games. If you look at our policies and you look at our manifesto, it's very straightforward. We're not going to have a new manifesto every time an election comes around. We're very clear about what we're going to do for the Jamaican people. We're very clear that we are going to have a youth employment solution, whether the PNP said it or the GLP said it, or they have a similar program, or it doesn't matter. We have a clear program as to how we're going to help the young people who are graduating from our school system today. We're going to make sure that all of those children coming out of that system today who don't have a job or don't have a trades program or not going to university, we're going to make sure that those children are going into an apprenticeship program where they're paid to learn and to produce. And through this system, we're going to fix what the education system has failed to achieve. At the same time, we also have the UIC program called LEAP, where we're going to fix the education system. But these things take time. You're not going to fix an education system overnight. So while we're dealing with those leaving the current system, we're now going to bring in a new system, a new curriculum. Yeah? And this new curriculum, which is called LEAP, is going to transcend the academic focus approach and give a total human approach, a total development of the person. You're now talking about our students learning to understand themselves biologically, mentally, socially, so that they can have the kind of rounded character that we need if we're going to have an elevated Jamaica. So the LEAP program, the learning enhancement, learning enrichment enhanced program, advanced program, is going to make sure that we have an education system that starts turning out more successes than failure. Right now, it's more failures than successes. So we're going to fix that. You know our plans already about changing the police force into a police service. That comes with better training, careful selection of those who actually get into the police service. We want high quality people. We shift the balance from those who see the police as a just a job because they can't get anywhere else. We now want to change that and let the police service be a place that people aspire to want to be in because of the caliber of training and education, the tools that they have to use to do their work, and the compensation that comes with it that allows them to live a decent standard of living here in Jamaica. So our approach to policing is going to be very different. It's going to be not only community focused, but it's going to be focused on higher level intellect to make sure that we have a service, policemen and women who will not only serve and protect, but respect the people of Jamaica. We're talking about police who are now skilled in dealing with even somebody like the young lady that was behaving very badly in front of the soldier. How to de-escalate a situation rather than kicking down the person or boxing down the person or using the back of the gun to hit somebody. We need to move away from that kind of brutal policing to one where the police is highly respected and appreciated by everyone, in every community. So you know about that. You know that we're going to change the army, its role and functions, to be truly an army by having it covering the border and giving us proper border security so we can cut off the flow of guns into the country. They're going to control our customs and control our borders all the way around, proper patrolling and management. So the end result of our manifesto in terms of the army and the police is that Jamaica is going to become a very, very safe space from around the borders to right into the arteries of all of our communities. So we're talking about some serious transformation there. So all in all, what I'm saying to you is this. The UIC is not a gimmick. The UIC is not a game. We're not here to just play the political game. And yes, we would love to be seen more by the Jamaican people, but you know why? You know that we're not being seen by the Jamaican people because the media, the traditional media, which many Jamaicans still use, is a problem. You also know that the UIC needs funding, more funding, in order for us to be able to leave our jobs and go on a tour around the island and go into various communities. So those persons who think it's very easy, they should come and do it. If they think it's easy to just get up and leave your job and go here and go there, and drive your car and go here and go there. When you drive your car, by the way, you're not just paying for gas. Your shocks are going to be mashed up. Your front end might drop off. And I'm talking about personal experience. So let us be a little bit more thoughtful in the things that we say if we truly support this movement. I see some persons who were strong supporters now, wavering because they hear some kind of things. Don't waver. If you're with us, remain with us. Stay strong. Stay firm. Don't allow somebody's opinion of me or somebody's opinion of what the movement should be doing to cause you to waver. Because it's not like we're sitting here in our hands. Right now, today, on Saturday, when I would be resting and relaxing for part of the day, I am up in the morning doing UIC's audit file, preparing the audit file. Yeah? Why? Because those persons who were supposed to manage those affairs didn't do it. Now I'm the president. I can't be getting up and going to do something else that you might want me to do because I have to sit down and do it. And if I don't do the audit right, you same one, when you hear that the books weren't done properly and something is not something, you're going to say, how could Mr. Patterson allow that to happen? So while many of you were able to enjoy the Saturday afternoon, I had to go and make sure that our audit file is good so I can answer all the questions of the auditor. He has been waiting now for 2 weeks. In fact, our audit is late. Our audit was due back in, what was it? I think it was due in January. Was it? No, March. It was due March, yes. Right? Should have had it done by March and filed and everything. But I was busy dealing with um, internal plans. And some people were surprised that we had internal difficulties. No, we're not. This is not heaven. The UIC is not a saint. It's not a perfect little thing that nothing can go wrong. We're dealing with human beings. It's an organization. It's a political organization. The worst kind of organization you could ever have. If you think church is bad, try a political organization. So it's all kinds of challenges you have to deal with. And worst of all, we're dealing with mostly volunteers. And when you're dealing with mostly volunteers, when any volunteer drop the ball and don't do their job, there are always two persons who are standing to get it done. That's me and Mrs. Patterson. No matter how you want to cut it, we can pretty it up, we can nice it up, but this is the fact. We're always there. So when we find out that the audit file that the previous treasurer didn't put together properly, we have to put it together. We have to make sure that everything is done prim and proper, and we have to give the right documentations to the auditor and make sure everything is accounted for and answer all the questions and so on. I must say I'm very impressed with the new treasurer that we have. Nice young lady who, for a young person, she is extremely diligent. She's going to stay up late at night and try to get things done and so on. Really appreciative of her. And, so we're working through all these things. But it's not easy, folks. This is not easy. Many of you would never do this. It's easy to criticize, but you would never do this. You would never actually do this. If all I had to do was to get up every day and come on social media and simply talk, if that's all I was doing, if I was just going to come here and take the latest news item and say, here's the next news item, and talk and talk and talk about it, if that's all I was going to do, this would be a very, very easy job. But you just try organizing 228 council candidates, recruiting, organizing, training. You just try to organize 63 MP candidates, recruiting, training, organizing, deploying, managing, supervising. You just try to do that on a shoestring budget. Try to do that. And you may ask, what about your vice presidents? Yes, we have 3 vice presidents. We have Miss Ramirez Acosta, Mrs. Acosta, doing her part in Middlesex. We have Miss Burke, I call her Captain Burke, doing her part in Surrey. And we have Mr. Kenrick Gordon doing his part in Cornwall. And all of these persons are new to politics. None of them have the years of experience that I have. So they all have to be trained. They don't just, because they're elected, they become perfect overnight. No. They have to be trained, they have to be guided, they have to be built. So we're building a party, we're building a movement. And all I'm asking for is for you to play your part. And there are many parts you can play. You don't have to play the same parts as everybody else. We each can pick a place. But we need you to join the movement so we know who you are and we can communicate with you live and direct, straight, through our email listing and so on. Join the movement. Get your family and friends to join the movement so we can know who our members are, who are the persons who are serious about this. Every member pays 1,000 Jamaican dollars a month if they're local here to Jamaica. And if they're foreign, they pay $10 US per month, every member. Of course, some members don't pay on time, but they're reminded, and then we collect. But the first thing you can do to help the movement is at least to join the movement, so we know that we have your support, and pay your monthly dues of $10 or more. People like Mr. Keith Romans, for example, gives more than $10 a month. People like Jamaican Carlos give more than $10 a month. People like Debbie Jervis gives more than $10 a month. People like myself give more than $10 a month. But whatever it is, you know, you give. So you join the movement and you start to donate. This will give us an indication. It can help us to plan and budget more clearly. What can we spend on? Right now, the UIC lives hand to mouth. We live like the typical Jamaican right now, not knowing where the next bread is going to come from tomorrow. I'm being very, very upfront with you, very, very straight with you, because I don't want us to continue to have unrealistic expectations and making grand demands upon me and others, thinking that we should just drop it and run. We can't. We can't. The other day, I came to the board, to the NEC, and asked them to give Mrs. Patterson and myself a stipend because we're emerging financially from the decisions that we have taken to give so much time and energy to the UIC. And that blew up with massive disrespect, and before you know it, a coup attempt and all kind of problems. You understand? So this is what I'm talking about. You don't have that in well-developed political parties because they're sensible. They know that if you don't take care of your leadership, you can't grow. If your leader has to be looking every minute over his shoulder financially to try to balance, you can't grow. And here's the problem. You can fix that problem by having a leader who is